morning.
Konting energy naman. Hello. And I had a hard time waking up. Grabe, it was like so hard. Anyway, morning everybody. I'm Carlo. I'm from TV5. I was thinking of presenting stuff that we've done in TV5 about social good and stuff like that. But I think the more effective thing to talk about is not just that, but also the stuff that I've done personally with regards to social media and digital and how it's impacted my life. So I'll go mostly there now. So to those who are on Twitter, follow me. Okay. So I usually start, and some of you here have seen me talk like several times, but I start usually with a quote from my grandfather to set the tone, and I'll use it again. Umiikot ang mundo, hindi pwede nakatayo lang tayo dito. For the foreigners, the world is spinning, we just cannot stand still. It's something that my grandfather told me before, and I think it sets the tone pretty well for this session this morning. That the world is changing, and we have to move with it. We have to recognize all of the opportunities, all of the advantages, all of the limitations, the restrictions, and try to make the most of that. And if you apply that into a setting of social work and trying to change the world, then it has so many ramifications and implications. So it's very good that we start with this one. Ba, automatic yung taga-click ah. Hindi ko na kailangan sabihin na click. Okay. So before anything else, let's do a quick definition because the topic is social media, social good. There's a big difference between social networking sites and social media. When people keep saying social media, they say it's Facebook, it's Twitter. No. Facebook and Twitter are platforms. They're social networking sites. Social media is the media. It's the content. It's the pictures, it's the videos, it's the text, it's the quotes, it's the memes, it's the music, it's the rants of people, it's the raves, it's people complaining about Tulfo, it's people complaining about Willie. Sorry. Dadala ko, sorry. Hi boss. You know, I asked Josh. I asked Josh last night. Parang, is MVP going to be there? Nope. Yes. Hi boss. Okay. Okay. So that it's important to get that definition out of the way, that because that's very key. Okay, but anyway, what's social media? And I think I'm preaching to the choir here since all of you, I think, agree with this statement already. That social media is basically about empowering people. Social networking sites is the platform, but social media gives people a voice through the videos, the music, and all of the different kinds of content. You know what? It's funny because when you talk about media before, it's all about just either text or video on TV, and the people holding control of that are networks. But now people can express themselves in different kinds of media. They can relate with the meme, they can relate with the song, and they can share it and express their moods. And I think that's very, very powerful. Hi, boss. Sheila, my boss. Hindi mo naabutan yung lines ko about TV5. Thank God. Okay. Okay, so um, the question is, how does it empower people? And I think it's dun yung pinaka-interesting about social media. Because if you think about it, people tend to focus more on the macro and the big things about social media. But the real revolution is actually happening in the individuals. The real story behind social media is not about the big organized efforts. It's about how each one of us participates in the conversation and uses it to our personal or whatever kinds of benefits. No, it's a customized and personalized experience because the content you consume and you share is based on one thing that's very relevant to you. It's based on you, diba? And that's what makes social media very, very powerful. Next slide, please. It makes social media and digital very malleable. It's a deep word. But if you think about it, it's actually very true. No, social media and digital is such a fun platform to play around with. You can do MMDA with the traffic thing. You can do NOAA with the weather, and there are so many more kinds of stuff that you can do. And I think that's one of the key traits and powerful things about social media and digital. That's very, very flexible. Uh, so how do people use social media? Can you go to the next slide? And this is one of my favorite. No? Sinulat ko na to sa paper. The paper app on iPad when I was thinking, 5 minutes left. Bumubuelo pa lang ako. Okay. Diba? But there are people use social media in different ways. And they experience YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn in their own unique ways. Diba? And this is the point I will keep driving, that it's really the power of the individual. It's the power of that one person And sometimes collectively, it even becomes much, much more powerful, diba? So, next slide, please. So, I'll give you some examples of people who are very close to me, and I think have really done such a fantastic job in changing opinions and influencing others. So, this one is Noemi. She's not here. She's a friend of Jane, no? I met Noemi in 2000, I forgot, basta 7 and something, no? Pero Noemi for me represents someone talaga who really takes social media seriously, di ba? And really affects change as much as he can. We've actually butted heads before in some issues in TV5, but you know what? I really appreciate her. And I know she's watching because there's this one incident. We had one artist that she disagreed with, but she knew I was handling social media for TV5. And just to illustrate how good a friend she is, she actually called me and said, beep, beep, this is something personal daw for her. And sana daw hindi ako ma-offend. And parang para sa akin naman, oh, natouch ako. Tapos biglang nakita ko na yung mga tweets niya, ah! But anyway, if there's one person, if there's one normal person, well, you can say she's extra normal. May ganun ba? Extraordinary. Wag naman yung isang other na opposite ng normal. Who's used social media talaga tremendously in an average capacity, but really changed a lot of things in opinions in the Philippines. It's Noemi, di ba? And I think she deserves a lot of credit, and people kinda box her in that activista lang yan online. Hindi, she's really using it. So I know she's not here, but I think we should celebrate yung pagkaganyan. So can we just give her a round of applause? And I know most of you know her naman. Okay, next. Then it also empowers. Yan, isa ko tong idol. Grabe, si Ana Oposa, no? Sa how she's changed things in environment. I'm going to move faster. Next slide. Randall Chongson, who's a very good friend of mine. No, actually, hindi pa ganun kasikat dati si Randall when we taught him how to vlog. No? Ngayon si Randall, ano yan, nakakatawa yan. Ayaw niya mag-vlog and pinipilit ko siya. And what I told him was, I'll buy your domain and I'll put a picture of yun yan kat yata na video until you start writing about finance. So I held this URL hostage. So I eventually started writing, and it's amazing, no? Randall is able to pursue his advocacy of personal finance. He's given talks all over, not just the Philippines, but all over the world already. And yung jumping board niya was this site. So it's amazing, no, how it really empowers individuals. Next slide, please. And of course, this is much more interesting because if there's one thing I've noticed, no, not a lot of, how do you say this, priests, pastors, and people in the church actually go to social media and use it in a way that people can relate. Most people can relate. So one of our pastors, Pastor Dennis, created a site na Act Like a Man. It's all about reclaiming biblical manhood. So for a pastor to do that and to get celebrities write about what it is to be a man, ano bang hinahanap nila Yen Constantino sa lalaki, and other celebrities, it's interesting. And he gets massive amounts of traffic. And I think it's a different take of using, evangelism and discipleship on a different context. So again, it's all about empowering the individuals. But next slide, please. And now we go to something that we've done. I put up new media in 2008, primarily because I wanted to get into a career on digital marketing. Basta to make a long story short, I wrote about things. I learned a lot of things because of this site. I wrote, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is not to critique endlessly because it really has a lot of ramifications on the side of the people you're critiquing. For example, there's this one time I wrote about a campaign and I wrote about it really bad. And then actually it happened in TV5. One person came up to me, introduced herself and said, hi, ganyan. I used to read your blogs. You wrote about one of my campaigns and I lost my job because of you. Do you want coffee? So anyway, this site has really paved the way for my career. And I changed the style already, if you guys have noticed. It's really more of uplifting and trying to get people more into digital and new media. Quite recently, we set up a jobs board. It will just keep on moving there. It's a way of us to give back. I partnered with Hans. It's the guy over there at the back with eLearning Edge. And it's interesting, no, because in the last, how long has this been up? 5-6 weeks. Click. Next slide. Yon. More than 1,350 applications have been processed. And I think it was Ronald Reagan who said that the best social program is giving people jobs. Something like that. Pinaparaphrase ko ng konti. Hindi ko plagiarize. Hindi ko tinatagalog. Nilinaw ko lang. Okay. At my attribution, di ba? Okay, next slide. Okay, so social media, I think, and empowers my favorite chart. It's this chart. It's helping people who are in the middle, that intersection of people who do what they love, what they're good at, and makes money. No? And social media empowers that. And that for me, I think, is the biggest takeaway. No? Now, let's just go through this quickly because I'm now quickly wrap up. If the power really is in the individual, what more if we start collaborating? And I think that's the challenge for everybody here this morning. What can we do together? Because the real power of social media is pag 1 plus 1 equals 2. Hindi 1/2 plus 1/2 equals 1, di ba? Kumbaga, I'm already completed what I'm doing. You're already good at something. And if we combine our powers, it's Captain Planet, di ba? Parang ganon. So it's really that. It's the collaboration of people. Yes, ma'am. Next slide. That's some of the examples. Syempre, my customary TV5 line. That's what happened with the traffic navigator when our editor-in-chief for introduction, Robbie Alampay, got together with Eves. Is Eves here? Okay. So there, diba? That's an example of collaboration at work. Next slide. Just some lessons to share with everybody and to encourage you. Resistance falls to persistence and creativity. And I cannot find the guy who said this. I think it was either Churchill or... That's why I'm saying it was either Churchill or... Basta, I'll get back to you. Ginugoogle ko kanina pero hindi ko mahanap. Oh, yan, Churchill. So tama. And I think it's very, very true. No, we can rebel armies of enemies, but not an idea whose time has come. And I think digital and social media, the time has already come. And we're in the right place and we just have to move with it. Next slide. Click. So just a few things to wrap up. We are all unique. We have special networks, talents, abilities, and skills. We can do so much with this using social media. The power of that is amplified through collaboration. Social media and digital are the perfect platforms for collaboration. And the big question is, what can you do good when combined with what others can do becomes game-changing? Next slide. I started this. I'll end with this. Thank you for your time this morning, and I hope all of you are convinced to move with the rest of the world. Thank you.